Across the ages, humans from various cultures shared legends about their origins, epic figures battling beasts, tales of love and sorrow, endings and renewals. Ancient myths molded civilizations, offering answers to life's enigmas. Such is the essence of mythology. Deep in the Eastern Ocean stood a lush peak abundant in produce and blooms, the enchanted flower and fruit mountain. Capping this summit was a rock, infused with the spiritual forces of sky and soil, illuminated by solar rays and lunar glow. This rock produced an enormous rocky orb. In the era of the Zhao rule, a strong gust split the stone, and out emerged a giant primate from the egg. The creature paid homage to the primary compass points, started moving and jumping, while beams of golden radiance burst from its gaze, slicing through the skies to the celestial realm. The exalted Jade Sovereign was alarmed by the dazzling rays and dispatched two deities, long sight and keen hearing, to probe the cause of the odd illumination. Returning to the heavenly ruler, they revealed that the glow originated from the primate born of the stone. The Jade Sovereign, deeming the source trivial, put it out of his thoughts. No threat loomed. Gradually, the primate matured on his native hill, feasting on the bountiful fruits and blossoms, frolicking among fellow simians. During one warm season, the group approached a precipice facing a mighty cascade. A dare was issued: anyone who could pass through the torrent unscathed and uncover its origin would lead the simian band. Undaunted, the stone-born primate dashed off the edge and dove into the thundering flow. He emerged on the opposite bank, soaked yet intact. Victorious, the stone primate was crowned the primate sovereign. Thus, the primate sovereign governed the group and their all paradise in perpetual joy. Decades passed, and the primate sovereign grew contemplative. He showed valor in situations that daunted the boldest, yet the notion of mortality, or his earthly existence concluding, filled him with dread, as he cherished existence above all. An aide, hearing his woes, spoke of enlightened Buddhas who had unlocked the path to perpetual vitality. The primate sovereign crafted a vessel and embarked for human realms to uncover the mysteries of undying life. Reaching mortal coasts, he pilfered a lumberjack's garb and merged into society as well as possible. For nearly a decade, the primate sovereign roamed this alien domain until news reached him of a sacred sage versed in immortality, the revered patriarch Subodhi. Arriving at Subodhi's abode, he found it secured and hesitated to enter. Soon, however, a follower of Subodhi invited him in. The sage had foreseen the primate's coming. Accepted as a disciple, the primate sovereign received a fresh title, Son Wukong, the Aware Monkey. Guided by Patriarch Subodhi, he mastered 72 transformation arts and the skill of somersault clouds, enabling leaps spanning vast distances in one bound. He absorbed diverse enchantments, herbal healing, combat techniques, and crucially, a meditative breath control that bestowed eternal life. Following 2 decades under the sage's instruction, his studies ended when he was spotted altering into a tree to impress peers. With reluctance, Son Wukong departed, bound by oath to conceal his mentorship. Son Wukong journeyed back to Flower and Fruit Mountain, only to find a fiend lord had seized control, tormenting the island's monkey dwellers. By plucking fur from his form, Son Wukong multiplied into a legion of primates and vanquished the fiend, restoring his original seat. To safeguard his kin, Son Wukong instructed his troop in fighting skills and equipped them with arms taken from a friendly city's smithies. Yet he sought a fitting armament for himself. No standard human-forged blade suited his strength. Thus, he sailed into the vast waters to confront the Dragon Sovereign of the East Ocean. The Dragon Sovereign greeted Son Wukong warmly and displayed his splendid arsenal. But frustration mounted as even the mightiest arms, tipping scales at thousands of pounds, felt featherlight to him, like playthings for youths. At length, the dragon's sovereign and kin unveiled a colossal 9-ton iron pillar banded with golden bands, the wish-fulfilling golden-hooped rod. Finally, the primate's sovereign discovered a tool of adequate weight, maybe excessive, he mused. Yet instantly, the staff contracted to his preferred dimensions. Indeed, this enchanted staff obeyed his will, resizing from mountainous proportions to needle-thin. Sun Wukong claimed the pole and, with unyielding persistence, coerced the dragon's sovereign and relatives into granting him gleaming armor. Upon the primate sovereign's homecoming, he envisioned being dragged to the underworld by spirit guides. How was this possible? He had gained undying essence from Patriarch Subodhi, death held no claim. His guards attempted to bind him, but Sun Wukong shattered their hold and battered them into oblivion. His combat skills terrified the underworld's inhabitants, prompting Yama, the Lord of Demise, to plead for mercy and end the chaos. Sun Wukong demanded the registry of souls be presented, then swiftly erased his entry and those of all earthly primates. His essence rejoined his form, and the primate sovereign stirred awake, now genuinely deathless. In the celestial court, meanwhile, the Jade Sovereign faced a barrage of grievances regarding Sun Wukong's antics. From the Dragon King and his family for hassling for armaments to the Lord of Dew for Sun's interfering with his judgment. The Jade Emperor was about to order the Monkey King's arrest when the Evening Star stepped forth on Sun's behalf. Though he was roguish, greedy, and peerlessly determined, they had to remember that Sun Wukong was born from the purest of cosmic energies and was disciplined enough to learn the hidden knowledge of immortality. So, it was decided that Sun Wukong would be brought to heaven and given a charge so as to be kept an eye on. The Evening Star descended to earth and relayed the news to Sun Wukong, who was made the marshal of the heavenly horses. Nearly 2 weeks later, at a feast, Sun Wukong learned that his position was menial and that he was not on equal terms with any of the other gods, as he had thought. Enraged, Sun Wukong flipped over the table and, in a somersault, returned to his island. 10 years had passed in the mortal world, and the primate island was overjoyed with the return of their monarch, whom they referred to as the great sage who is heaven's equal. The Jade Emperor's patience was spent, and he sent heaven's armies after the Monkey King. But Sun Wukong managed to defeat them all. Not even the fury of the god Neza could best him in combat. Soon, the Evening Star convinced the Jade Emperor to grant a title to the mischievous primate and promises of a life of pleasure in heaven. Naturally, Sun Wukong was appeased and returned to heaven, reveling in his triumph. For a time, Sun Wukong lived a life of leisure, eating and napping, showing little respect to the gods but staying out of trouble nonetheless. The Jade Emperor feared that this idleness would only lead to future mischief. So, Sun was given the duty of guarding the Garden of Immortal Peaches, sacred to Zhuangmu, the Queen Mother of the West, whose trees bore fruit only once every few thousand years and whose fruit conferred immortality on whosoever consumed it. He was forbidden from eating any of the peaches. But he could not resist the temptation and proceeded to eat all of the ripe peaches of the garden. After eating his fill, Sun Wukong lay in the canopy of a tree and fell fast asleep. Zhuangmu was preparing the great peach banquet for all the gods of the heavens and sent out her fairies to the garden to collect the ripened peaches. Upon arrival, the fairies accidentally woke the Monkey King, agitating him. When they explained the purpose of their intrusion, he inquired if he was also invited to the banquet. When they told him no, Sun Wukong was angered and cast a spell that froze them in place. He then proceeded to disrupt the banquet preparations, consuming all of the celestial food and all of the immortal wine before drunkenly stumbling into the laboratory of Laozi An, ingesting the alchemically derived pills of immortality, increasing his invincibility exponentially. Knowing full well the wrath of the gods would soon be on him, Sun Wukong turned himself invisible and escaped through the western gate and back down to earth. News spread of the travesty, and the Jade Emperor sent the entire might of heaven down upon Sun Wukong. But as before, Sun Wukong's prowess in battle and magic kept the forces of heaven well at bay. When all seemed lost for the gods, the Jade Emperor's nephew, Erlangshan, and his army of beast spirits joined the fray. Sun Wukong and Erlang battled viciously, nigh equals in both shape-shifting and martial arts. But Sun Wukong was defeated when Erlangshan's celestial hound, Tian Go, bit the monkey on his leg, distracting him long enough for Erlang and Laozi to overcome him. He was bound, dragged back to heaven in order to be executed, but no method could kill the monkey. Sun Wukong's teachings and his consumption of the immortal peaches, wine, and pills made him truly invulnerable. Even being trapped in Laozi's magic oven for 49 days only seemed to make him stronger. So, the Jade Emperor was forced to call on Buddha for aid. Buddha arrived with his disciples and was introduced to the troubles of the Monkey King. Sun Wukong boasted his accomplishments and spat on the virtues of the Jade Emperor, claiming he was more worthy of heaven's throne. So, Buddha made Sun a wager: if he could somersault out of his hand, then he would be free of all charges and granted heaven's throne. But if he failed, he must yield to Buddha's feathers. It seemed simple enough, so Sun Wukong jumped into Buddha's hand and somersaulted far and away. Amidst his jump, he saw 5 columns that towered to the sky. These must mark the ends of the earth, he thought. So, Sun Wukong landed on one of the columns and left his mark as proof. When he returned to Buddha, he demanded his reward. But Buddha laughed at the primate and told him he had never left his palm. Sun Wukong was shocked to see the mark he had left on the column was present upon Buddha's middle finger. Before he could escape, Buddha trapped him in his hand and cast him from heaven. Using the 5 elements of water, fire, wood, earth, and metal, Buddha sealed Sun Wukong beneath a mountain, where he would have to wait until the gods would show him mercy. Sun Wukong remained imprisoned beneath the celestial mountain for centuries before he was released by a Buddhist monk, Tang Sanzang, dubbed Tripitaka by the Bodhisattva Guanyin, on the condition that he serve him as an escort in his journey to the west. Sun Wukong eventually conceded and went on to faithfully protect the monk on his journey. But that is a story for another time.